I want to go to one other member of Congress who's a key player in this ongoing war, and that is Marjorie Taylor Greene, because it turns out that Republicans who don't really like her are feeling more and more empowered to speak out against her, and that includes Republican Senator Thom Tillis. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
I think she's uninformed. She is a total waste of time. She is a horrible leader. She is dragging our brand down. She, not the Democrats, are the biggest risk to us getting back to a majority.
That was pretty clear, pretty aggressive in messaging, but he's not the only one. You also have another Republican congressman by the name of Mike Molinaro, who had some harsh words for Marjorie Taylor Greene as well.
Is Marjorie Taylor Greene honest and earnest?
Her theater and this constant effort to hold the Congress hostage has to come to an end. I'm going to have no part in it. And a good number of my colleagues, conservative and moderate, believe that enough is enough. It is time to move on and to move past this kind of nonsense.
The sticking point for him, what really gets under his skin about Marjorie Taylor Greene, is her unwillingness to provide funding to Israel. But he also seems to have a cozy relationship with the pro-Israel lobby. Since getting elected just a few short years ago in 2022, Molinaro has already collected $121,000 from the pro-Israel lobby. So, he's gonna proudly and loudly call for the military funding to Israel, and he's gonna speak out against any Republican member of Congress who's gonna stand in the way. And that's exactly what he did in that interview. Any final words, John?
Yeah, we talked on the Damage Report about some of the op-eds that have been published in places where you wouldn't necessarily expect it. Fox News, New York Post had a really scathing attack against Marjorie Greene as their front page recently. There definitely is they seem emboldened to turn against her, and I sort of understand why. She is the leader of a very small but very loud faction in the Republican Party. I mean, she's got Gosar with her, sometimes Matt Gaetz, kind of. Even Lauren Boebert can't stand her guts. Now, they have such a narrow majority that she can still be very influential despite the fact that it's so small. And I would be worried if I were the Republicans about the effect of her being one of the most visible Republicans on their chances of, maintaining their majority. I disagree with Thom Tillis, though, that I don't think it's her necessarily or Mike Johnson. I think that Donald Trump is the biggest threat to them. Like, does anybody doubt that if it was, Nikki Haley or something, they would easily win the presidency? There would be more coattails for their congressional candidates, and they'd take the Senate and probably end up with a 15 to 20 seat majority. That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you have a point in that, progressives love to talk about root causes. So if you want to talk about the root cause of this rift among the Republican Party, it's Donald Trump. I mean, remember, these are lawmakers who refer to themselves as like the MAGA Republicans, the America First Republicans. And America First is the messaging that you get from Donald Trump, even though he's not really America First when you look at his policies, right? So Donald Trump recently in an interview also defended Mike Johnson and repeated the same talking points that we heard from Johnson in the passage of the military funding bills by saying, look, we've got a slim majority in the House. He's doing the best that he can. So I'm just real interested to see how this all plays out. I find the story fascinating. So we will be keeping an eye on it and updating you all as the story develops.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a young Turk.